How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Monero, and welcome back to the Stanley Parable. So originally I only intended to do the two most obvious endings, but you guys said you really enjoyed it and would like to see me do the rest, so here it is. I'm hopefully going to get 2 more endings done in this part, then there should be another part that has the other 2 endings, because there is 6 endings all up. We've done 2, we got 4 more to go, so let's jump in and see what they are. What I'll do is I'll let the introduction play for the first ending that we do, and then I'll skip it for the second ending in case you want to watch it again.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor next to his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on a monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and walked out into the hallway.
Alright, so we're back with good old Stanley. I thoroughly enjoyed doing the first 2 parts, and yeah, as I said, I didn't intend to do anymore.
Stanley decided to go to the staff lounge to check on his
Don't cut me off, narrator.
He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, and I'm glad you guys said you wanted to see more, as we can now check out the other endings. Alright, here we go.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
Alright. So I think I know where a couple of them are. The 2 obvious ones for me were actually down here. I'm not sure about the doors on the right. So we'll do these ones first, because we kind of know what they are.
As Stanley entered the lounge, he was horrified to find not a single person here. He decided he would walk up to see his boss, hoping that he would find an answer there.
Can I get a drink, please? What are these schematics? Popular Scientist. That's got to be an exciting magazine. Alright, so we'll head down. Okay, so I think this will be one of the splits here.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yeah, because last time we walked up, so screw you, narrator. We're going down. Downstairs is all we need.
But Stanley just couldn't do it.
What the?
He considered the possibility of facing his boss, of admitting that he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, was it really worth taking that risk? All because he believed everyone had disappeared? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Stanley?
Everyone I know simply vanishing out of the blue, there's almost no other explanation for it. And a nagging fear began to creep up in his mind.
Stanley, you're not crazy.
That had been there all along. He just hadn't put his finger on them yet.
What's going on?
For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
Whoa! What the hell?
Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Was he just walking around in circles?
What the hell?
Where am I, he thought. And the more he found himself unable to answer these questions, the more questions continued to arise, until he came to the issue that had been slowly boiling, until he could ignore it no longer.
I am going in circles.
Why is there a voice in my head, dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Suddenly, every door slammed shut.
No, let me out!
Stanley screamed. I need to get out of here. I need to know that there's something out there. I need to know it's not just all in my head.
What's going on?
And clutched at his skull as the voice grew harsher and the music in the background rose higher and higher. And then,
what the
moments
fuck?
before collapsing to the ground, Stanley clenched his fists and screamed to anyone who might be listening, I'm not real! I'm not real! Don't believe any of it! None of it's real! And then everything went black.
Okay. That escalated quickly.
This is the
Jesus.
story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She got dressed, went to work, clocked in, clocked out, and then she walked home. But her walk on this day was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Moments after seeing him, she would turn, run to the nearest police station, and call for an ambulance. But for just a few brief seconds, she merely stood there, unable to move. The tragedy was not the death of a single person. It was that she would never know this man's story, never hear in his own words what had happened to him, or what he believed had happened to him. For to know these things would be to exist inside the head of the man himself. So all she could do was observe from a distance and pity him.
What? What the hell just happened?
Mariella had places to be and people to meet with, very important people, whose impressions of her would affect her career and indeed the rest of her life. She stood there for only a moment, looking down at the body, and then she ran.
Okay, well, that was a messed up, weird ending. Alright, so we just did that ending, and now it's time to do another one. So I'm going to skip the intro this time since we just watched it. And here we are at Stanley. Okay, well that ending was...
Stanley
I don't know.
decided to go to the staff lounge to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
That ending was fucking... That was bizarre. That was
Stanley
weird.
came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
I'm a little creeped out. Just... It was, what, crazy? I don't know. So odd. Alright, so I think I know where the next one is. The next one would be with the machine.
As Stanley entered the lounge, he was horrified to find not a single person here.
Stop repeating yourself, narrator.
He would walk up to see his boss, hoping that he would find an answer there.
Alright. So I'm pretty sure the other one is, if you watch part 2, and we got up to his boss.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
And the machine, we activated the machine and we deactivated it in part 2, so we'll activate it this time.
Entering his manager's office, Stanley was
Can't remember the number.
To discover not an indication of any human life.
Boss,
it was at this point
show yourself.
That he began to feel dizzy and a little sick, and even thought he might pass out when suddenly he noticed a keypad next to the file.
I cannot remember
in the
it.
corner of his boss's office. Stanley had never seen this panel before and had no idea what combination of numbers
I love
would
this part,
produce
though.
any result. In fact, only Stanley's boss knew this, since the panel withheld access to the boss's greatest, darkest secret. And
Don't
so
you
he
tell
had
me
assigned
things.
the keypad, a combination that only he could possibly know. The number of his freshman dorm number in college. 1957.
Alright,
But of course,
1, 9,
Stanley
5,
couldn't
7.
Yet incredibly,
That's right, bitch,
by
I got
simply
through.
Pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Amazing. Alright.
Stanley ventured forth into the newly opened passage. As he drew deeper into the bowels of the building, Stanley had no idea where he was or what this place held.
And we haven't got
just
the
as he
graphical
began to
glitch
think
this
he
time.
might not discover a thing, he emerged into a long room to find rows
TVs!
of
Yeah,
numbers.
no glitch this time. There's my
Screens
number,
with a number
427.
Stanley noticed, however, that these were not random numbers, but the number of employees who worked in the building, his co-workers.
There's
Even his own
mine.
number, 427 had a place on the wall.
Alright.
But why a setup so elaborate, he asked. Was this simple surveillance or something even more? And as if in answer to his question, the wall
Let me
slid open
through.
before him, revealing the ultimate truth of the situation.
Alright, so here's the big
An
machine.
enormous control panel, Stanley discovered.
Beep boop,
But
beep
not
boop.
one that
Press all the
controlled
buttons.
simple machinery. Buttons were labeled with emotions. Happy,
The hell?
sad. Levers and knobs controlled actions. Walking, eating, doing work, or watching TV.
They're controlling
Every
us.
input on this device monitored not the functions of a machine, but of a human being.
Bastards.
And the reality began to sink in. Stanley, like so many other people, reduced to images on a monitor, had been under someone's control, always at the mercy of this machine. Could this have been the only reason employee number 427 was
Sinister.
content with his boring job? That a machine had altered his emotions to accept it blindly? He began
Never.
to feel an unbridled rage, and at the peak of his anger,
Here it comes.
something happened. A spark.
There we
Stanley
go.
looked up and saw the generator overhead, still providing some small amount of power to the machine,
Alright.
keeping it alive.
Well, we'll head up
And
there.
knowing that this generator was all that kept the controls running, Stanley moved to the ladder in the back of the room.
Stanley can
and began
climb a
to
ladder
climb
pretty
towards
fucking
the
well.
rafters.
Jesus, Stanley. I didn't realize you had some parkour skills or something like that. Alright, so, as I said in the Nut
Higher
Part
Stanley
2,
climbed, the closer he
we
felt
deactivated the machine.
the
So,
further from enslavement.
we'll see what happens when we activate it this time. Up we go. I thought that ending where you escape was, you know, macabre and a bit depressing, but that one where Stanley just died before, what the fuck? Alright, it will engage the generator. Do it, generator. Turn. We'll see what happens now.
Oh, Stanley.
You
You
fucked
didn't
up,
just
Stanley.
activate the controls, did you? After it kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself? Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yes. I want to be the
Stanley.
boss.
Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were meant to let it go, turn the controls off and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do better than that. I'm
Oh,
afraid
shit.
you don't have nearly the power you think you have. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized that he had just initiated the network's emergency
shit.
detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to
What?
explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Oh, let's make it say, 2 minutes.
How do I get out of here?
This is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley?
What do I do?
Go ahead. Play with those controls all you like. The real controls are where I'm sitting. Did you really ever believe you held any power?
Son of a bitch.
Did you not think I knew what I was doing? When I erased your co-workers and turned off the machine, I was offering you freedom, an escape. I didn't have to do that. I've run this story many times, and I don't always set you free. Sometimes you just sit there, day after day after day, doing your job forever, and then dying alone. But when I actually give you the freedom to control your own actions, it's not enough. I let you go, and you trapped yourself just the same.
Fuck you,
just
narrator.
weren't made to handle this sort of responsibility, I'm afraid.
What's this? Press
But
all the
you know
buttons.
what you were made for? Pushing buttons. You get it now? Oh, I'm enjoying this.
Let
Tell
me
you
out.
what, I'll throw some extra time on the clock just because I'm having so much fun.
You sadistic prick.
Go. You see, I want to watch you for every long second you try to puzzle this out. After all, it should make sense, right? The timer, the nuclear detonation, the mysterious facility, it's all here. This is a video game. Except for one thing there, hero.
Wait, that turned
You've got
on.
no weapon, no vehicle. You don't even know where you're going. When you saw that timer, you just instinctively started trying to find an exit, didn't you? In fact,
Yes.
I bet you're still looking for a way out. I bet you're clicking on everything in this room, trying to open doors or vents or something and solve the puzzle.
How did you
Though
know?
This game has a solution, as though it can be won. That timer is not a catalyst to keep things moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death.
Let me
It's
out!
not a challenge. It's a tragedy. It's the moment when the hero realizes that despite his best efforts, he is powerless to his environment. And then
Like an asshole.
he lets go. He surrenders. And he dies.
No!
30
Quick.
seconds, Stanley. 30 seconds.
I'm
Until
going back
boom,
up.
And then nothing.
You
No ending
are a
to this
sick
story,
fuck.
Just you dying. I suppose you could have gotten an actual ending if you played along, but that just wouldn't have been your style, would it? Instead, you'll perish knowing that the only choice you made here was to turn on that machine and to start this timer. But you won't be alone, because I'm not going anywhere.
Let me
I'll be
out!
here to watch every second of your inevitable life from the time we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
What the fuck? This narrator is sick and twisted. Well, anyway, guys, those are the two endings I'm going to do for this part. Make sure to come back and check out the next part if you want to see the other endings, and I'll catch you for whatever I do next. Bye.